Nigun Shamil. Nigun Shamil is a Chabad Nigun. The Rabbi Meliובאוויטש taught it by himself. For many years, the Rabbi taught his Hasidim a Nigun at Simchat Torah in the early hours of the morning. In 1959, after the הקפות and התוועדות, the Rebbe taught an unknown Nigun, followed by a story. This Nigun expresses a longing for the higher states when the person was previously, and hope and confidence for the better future. And this is a longing. And so the Rebbe says, about 200 years ago, in the Caucasus Mountains, lived in a spatial and free tribes, as a free birds, without the state's laws and even culture restrictions. Their leader was called Shamil, Imam Shamil. When the Russian governments began to expand their control, they wanted to win anywhere, also the mountains when the Caucasian tribes lived. Also the Russians had many good soldiers, and the tribes were few. The Russians couldn't defeat them because they lived in the high mountains. In the end, the Russians outsmarted and offered to make a peace. When the tribesmen thought it was real and came down the mountains, the Russians fought them and exiled the leader Shamil far, far away in Russia. When he was in exile, he remembered the high mountains when he was free from the governments and liberated from the laws of culture, free as an eagle in the sky. And so, he played to himself this Nigun, a melody that began with a longing for the old days and end in the hope that there will be a good days and return to his place in high mountains. When the Jews heard this Nigun, it was viewed as a parable to the soul that came down to the body. When the soul is high, it's close to Hashem and united with Him. As it goes down to this world, to the material world, to the material body, for the neshama, this is decline and disengagement from the source and the light and the holiness. And so, sometimes the soul, feeling of longing and thirst, arises. We said it in Liמים, צמאה לך נפשי, כמה לך בשרי. The soul is thirsty for connection with Hashem, for the high sense and unity. From time to time, we looked at ourselves and recognized that we are in bad state of mind, or not where we would like to be. We feel that there are all kinds of things in our lives that do not allow the soul to rise, to reach the high places we want to reach. We miss the high mountains, the roots of soul. In the last part that I just played now, the hope. Hope because man knows that the fact that the soul came down from the top to our body is what allows us to work and rise to the highest we couldn't have reached before. We also know that this purpose of decline, it's called ירידה לצורך עלייה. It's a decrease in order to increase. And this nigun, this tune, refers to the concept that called רצו ושוב, back and forth. A movement of zooming in and out, aspiring upwards, back down, and in the next time, like a spiral, the man is no longer at the same point he was before. We can say that Nigun Shamil expresses out of thirst and longing, great hope arises.